DePin seems to be a huge narrative on crypto right now, and a narrative that seems to be ready to explode in the bull market that is just around the corner, I would say. And in order for you to be able to make the most out of this narrative, we are actually going to show you in this video some of the projects that are building on Cardano and that fit this niche, the projects we believe have the most potential. And why Cardano, you might be asking? Well, because this ecosystem is pretty early, but really starting to boom, I would say, with many great companies building, launching products and doing amazing stuff. But so far, it has gone a bit under the radar when compared to other blockchains. And at least for me, that screams opportunity. And you can probably find here some real hidden gems, I would say, at a discounted price when compared to other tokens in this niche. I'm sure you're probably eager to get right into this topic and find out about the projects building on Cardano that fit this DePin category, but I should probably start by explaining a little bit more of what is DePin for anyone watching who might not be that familiar with the term. If you are, then you can feel free to skip to the next section. You have the timestamps below to help you with that. DePin, as you can see here, stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure, and DePin projects use crypto incentives to build out a physical infrastructure of all kinds, I would say. And most of the times leveraging these physical infrastructures to create decentralized networks or products. You know, some examples of projects that would fit this category would be like decentralized computing, decentralized cloud services, decentralized Wi-Fi, for example. So basically all those projects, as you can see, requires some kind of physical infrastructure, and instead of the project acquiring this physical infrastructure and distributing it and making it available, it creates incentives for people in diverse regions of the world to set up smaller infrastructures that join the network, creating a huge network of these decentralized infrastructures that are more resilient and that actually distribute the benefits across the participants of the network, which I also think is one of the very interesting characteristics of DePin projects, I would say. Especially because these projects are usually open for anyone to come and contribute with their hardware and get rewarded and incentivized to do so, which I believe is very positive. But as stated previously, DePin seems to be one of the hot categories for this bull market, one of the narratives you should pay attention to. So it's good that you have a notion of which projects are in this category and that might benefit from this narrative. This, of course, is not financial advice. I'm just sharing some of the projects that I personally find interesting and that I'm paying attention to. And the reality is that the inspiration for this video actually comes from the recent Messari report on DePin, which doesn't actually mention companies building on Cardano, unfortunately. So I think this video will provide you with that information, relevant information that is lacking from that report, and which I would argue it's even more valuable because, you know, so far these companies building on Cardano have gone under the radar of normal investors, of investors reading that report, which means there is actually an opportunity to buy cheaper, an opportunity for larger growth, I would say. In terms of the report, one of the things that I believe it's important to mention is that Messari believes that this industry of the DePin projects will be a $10 trillion industry, which I would say it's very significant. But now let's get to what you want, and let's start with the projects, DePin projects building on Cardano, and the first one is World Mobile. And World Mobile, as you can see, is using blockchain and crypto incentives to decentralize telecommunication networks and mobile internet networks. Their goal is to connect the whole world, and they have some real significant progress in their mission, being used in countries such as Mozambique, United States, Pakistan, and Zanzibar. And you know, with World Mobile, anyone can actually get an air node, connect to the network, and make their service available to the World Mobile Network. You can see some of the great stats and achievements of the World Mobile project and team in this page here. And you can also learn more about World Mobile if you're interested. In this video, I have here explaining everything you need to know about the project. So definitely a good video to research more about World Mobile, like get acquainted with the project. Now, if you like this kind of decentralized contributions, one great way that you can contribute is by clicking that like button and really helping this channel reach more people in a decentralized way, because it's thanks to your contribution. But the next project on the list is Iagon. Iagon leverages crypto to incentivize individuals to provide their storage capacity to create a decentralized cloud storage network. They have a pretty unique and interesting algorithm, I would say, in terms of how the information is stored across different devices in a secure way, in an encrypted way. Users on Iagon can actually purchase safe cloud storage services from Iagon that are also decentralized, which is very positive because it means you'll actually be minimizing the risk of actually losing the information you're putting in on Iagon, because it's decentralized across different devices. And here in this page, you have some very interesting metrics about Iagon that has just launched very recently around Christmas time. About Iagon, it's maybe important to note that they also have plans to start providing another DePin service, that is the decentralized computing services. While we do have plans to make a deep dive into Iagon, and if you're interested in that, then please subscribe so you don't miss out on that video. Then after Iagon, we have to mention NuNet, which is a competitor, I would say, in some ways, a similar project. And NuNet is a spin-off project of SingularityNet, and while it is also open for any individual to come to use the platform, and it's open for all of us, the reality is that they also have a business model focused on providing storage and computing power for AI development, and more specifically to the SingularityNet ecosystem. I believe NuNet is starting to focus more on computing power. And similar to Iagon, NuNet leverages crypto to incentivize individuals to provide, both the computing power and the storage space to the network. And the clients on their side can leverage NuNet to access these resources at any point in time. They just need to naturally pay for it, and the people providing these resources will get rewarded from those users using them. I've actually done a deep dive into NuNet before, so you can check that video out here at the top as well, a very interesting one if you want to learn more about the project. Then on the fourth project, we have Charlie 3, which is a decentralized oracle similar to Chainlink, but for projects on Cardano, for data on Cardano. And Charlie 3 is live and has already some price feeds available, but it's still early in its development, I would say. And yet it's not fully open for everyone to come and become an oracle in their network, as you do need to dox yourself and be approved by the Charlie 3 team before you are able to become a node operator. Node operators on Charlie 3 are responsible for collecting, verifying, and publishing real-world data on-chain. And it's important to note as well that Charlie 3 has some free data prices available, which is very relevant and extremely useful for the community to get reliable data from the real world. Because this reliable data is actually super important for dApps on Cardano to work well, while the other price feeds on Charlie 3 can actually be acquired using their C3 token. And finally, the last project is also similar to Chainlink or Charlie 3, and we are talking about Orcfax. That is another decentralized oracle focused on Cardano, and Orcfax node operators are as well responsible for collecting, verifying, and publishing real-world data on-chain. And users and the apps who want to access this data need to pay with the FACT token, that is the token of Orcfax. And Orcfax also has a very unique characteristic because it allows us to audit actually the way that the off-chain source data was collected by the node operators, because that information is stored for users to be able to verify the reliability of the data. I would say there are probably more projects on Cardano that could be considered DePin, but to be honest with you, I think that depends on how broad is your definition of DePin, so it can actually be argued. The reality is that this is still a very new and subjective category, subjective narrative, and at the end of the day, projects will, naturally try to position themselves in these categories, in these narratives, as that might actually benefit them in terms of awareness, adoption, and growth. And at the end of the day, that's what projects want, naturally, to make an impact, but to have this adoption. In fact, one project that I believe could be considered a DePin project is SingularityNet, that is leveraging crypto to create incentives for the development of decentralized AI services to be made available in their AI platforms. So, developers are actually incentivized to create services and publish them into the SingularityNet marketplace. And the reality is that these open source services will also contribute to the development of decentralized and beneficial AGI, which might be a very interesting concept to explore. In fact, if you want a more careful explanation and understand better how SingularityNet works, then you should definitely watch this video next. It's a deep dive into SingularityNet with everything you need to know about the project, and explaining you as well some of the most difficult concepts in what I consider to be a very simple way. So I'll see you there.